Hi everyone, I'm Autumn, and today I am going to do a thorough, in-depth walkthrough tour of the Silver Bullet, my 2017 Dodge Grand Caravan. I absolutely love this minivan. I can't even tell you guys how happy I've been since I've got it. It truly is that just right experience of the Goldilocks. It's incredibly windy. I'm risking the tripod blowing over to get this outside shot. There are gusts up to 50 miles an hour. We are out here in beautiful Torrey, Utah, and it's just incredibly windy. This minivan is the just right size. For anyone new here, I have been living on the road for over 3 years now. This is my third nomadic vehicle. I started out in a teeny tiny car camper, and I lived in that for approximately 2 years. I also lived for 16 months in this old clunky RV that I completely did a cosmetic renovation on, and it died. So this lovely, lovely minivan gets excellent gas mileage and has really given me the nomadic life that I want and that I love, and I am just so happy. And we're on our way to Alaska. A lot of people have asked, why did you choose a Dodge Grand Caravan instead of a Toyota Sienna? And it really came down to price. I am only willing to buy what I can own free and clear. That is freedom. Wow, it is windy. We're gonna have this conversation over here. I had no idea how controversial vehicle manufacturing decisions are. Oh my goodness, they're like as controversial as religion and politics. And some people are gonna think I'm crazy for having purchased a Dodge. Other people are going to give me a thumbs up and they'll like that I purchased a Dodge. Whoa, that would be the wind right there. Many of you may have seen the little glimpse of our first few days where we sort of did just a run through build. Well, we have changed a few things. We took out all of the seats and cut up the floor in order to have more storage. Chloe has a throne, which I'm going to show you in just a moment. And also I added more storage in here. So it isn't sort of as open and spacious as that original tour, but I did need it to be realistic for full-time living. Now, I am a minimalist. I do not like when things feel cluttered or crowded, so I aim to keep that vibe. All right, I'll just stop talking and show you. Come on, check it out. All right, I'm actually gonna start with the exterior because I wanna show you my 200 watts of solar. They're adhered directly to the van. I did have my mechanic auto body guy help me out with that. Big shout out to Juan at Brake Masters in Flagstaff. Highly recommend him, folks. He can do very customizable things, such as run the solar cord down through the roof. Inside, I'll show you how all of that works in a little bit, but this is my setup. Hi there. Editing me. I want to share something just to let you guys know, if you have a dog, something to be very, very aware of. When I put solar on my car, which you can see right here, it was a life-changing nomadic experience for me. It was amazing. But for my dog, Chloe, it was absolutely awful. Chloe became very afraid to be in the car, which confused me greatly because this dog loves traveling. What I ended up discovering is that the solar sound of the way that I put it on my car was awful for her. Even though I didn't hear much, I heard a difference, but she has like supersonic, you know, super doggy senses when it comes to hearing. I don't know if it was a whistle or vibration, but something about how I did solar on my car caused tremendous problem. And that is why I was like, I can't do this myself. I absolutely have to hire an expert who can help me. And so I want to walk you through and show you what Juan from Brake Masters in Flagstaff did, because I am so grateful. And Chloe is back to loving being a nomadic doggy again. And we're back to just loving our adventures. She loves driving. She's excited to be in the van. And it's all because we were able to make solar not a painful, scary experience for her. So what I did to reduce noise, stop vibration, and increase gas mileage is rubber washers, butyl tape around where all of the brackets met the roof entry. And then what Juan from Brake Masters did is he used spray foam all around the front here. You can kind of see a little bit of that spray foam in there. And that helps the gas mileage, in addition to stopping so much vibration with the air coming through, you know, the gap basically that would be right there on the front. Then what Juan did is he sanded down the spray foam, I painted it black, but it was quite porous looking. I didn't love how it looked, so I wrapped it with some black duct tape, which if you look at it closely, it looks maybe, you know, odd, but if you look at it from a distance, it just kind of looks like a cool van camper. He also helped me keep my cargo box. Now this cargo box is sideways, and I wondered if it would create too much drag, and it does not. It barely touched the gas mileage to turn it sideways like this. I think it's because it's a low profile cargo box and it's rounded. In order to fit all of the solar panels, there were a couple of spaces where these crossbars could fit on the caravan roof, so we just put them close together. He drilled holes as needed to secure it, and then got this piping stuff. It's like 3 or 4 inches of basically pipe. I forget what the type of pipe is called, but that piping holds it up. He secured the piping to the roof with some kind of sealant, and it keeps it sturdy and steady, and it's perfect. I just step right here, and then I can reach up there. Here, I'll show you. Just step on this little back step, bada bing, bada boom. I really like easy. I don't like when I have to set up a lot of things. So this folding TV tray, I've got 2 of them. I use these in place of the former camping table I had, which just took longer to set up and break down. I like fast and easy. I got 2 of them because I like having that flat surface space to cook outside. I do have a tent with me in case I want to stay in a campground and they don't allow you to sleep in your car, or in case I want to stake claim to a campsite. Look at my view, by the way. This is my shower bag. I have toiletries, a towel, and some extra clothing. I have a yoga mat, a camping rug, extra pair of shoes. This is where I put my feces. That's right, I poop in a kitchen bowl. I throw the bag behind a tree while I'm camping, and then before I leave, I put the bag or bags in here and throw them out when I can get to a proper trash can. Also, this is my outdoor cooking stove. I have one inside, but I like to keep that inside, and I just have that extra one for when I'm cooking outside, which is most of the time, as long as it's not this windy. And now, what most folks are excited to see is the gorgeous layout, interior, and design. So this is my home on wheels, you guys. And here is my dear, who usually likes to play outside, but she does not want to be in this wind. What you'll notice that's different than the original tour is the addition of these guys. And I painted my fridge purple. How cute is that? Hi, sweetheart. Can you say hi to everyone? Say hi, welcome them to our new home. I rarely open this door now because of the storage system that I placed inside, but I just thought I'd give you a view through the window of what it looks like from this side. So again, this is day mode. I will show you night mode as we get into the evening. All right, we'll just start from the front to the back. Hi, honey. Hi, are you showing everybody your throne? This is Chloe's throne. She loves this so much more than the passenger seat, and so do I. So that is all typically out of view, so you don't necessarily see how unattractive it is, because I must say, it's very well organized, but it's not pretty. And can you guys tell I like pretty stuff? However, it is so handy to have this much storage, and I make use of all the space. So first, Chloe loves sitting there. It's at a height that's absolutely perfect and custom designed for her so that she can lay down and still look out as we're driving. And I'll show you a few things I have. So this is a box of feminine hygiene products. Yep, need those, and need them accessible easily enough to get them once a month. And then I have extra Chloe blanket, Starlink, and just extra cleansing cloths. My 2 pillows, because I am a very, very specific type of sleeper. This is a heated blanket. This is part of my bed. So I will show this to you later. I have an extra power station. I don't even know if I'm gonna need to use it. That's a Pecron 720 watt-hour power station. It's there in the event that something happened with my Jackery. It can run off of the same solar I have on the roof. And if I did want to run this blanket, if I kept it on all night, it would take about 80% of my 720 watt power station. I actually use hot hands for warmth, but going to Alaska, I wanted to have multiple means of warming up. So I make use of every bit of space. So I have like a fly swatter, some things for Chloe, and just a few other odds and ends down there. I also make use of the space down here. I have Chloe's leashes. But this floor is not even. There's about a 5-inch difference. It's 5 inches lower over here compared to the back. So I'm able to slide in things like extra socks. I think I have sunglasses in there, some laundry sheets, some toilet paper, just extra random stuff. I've got like 3 of these down here across the width. Over here, it's so hard to show this to you guys because I painted it and then it chipped. Now I store a paintbrush and some custom paint down in that drawer to do retouches, but this one is needing retouched a lot. I don't know if maybe my feet kick it in the night or it gets hit a lot because I also painted the fridge. I painted those plastic things and they do not need touched up. This needs touched up like every day. So I'm probably gonna look for another solution, but this is the exact right size. And I did not like how it looked when it was just its regular white color. As you can tell, I like color, so I'll figure that out. I don't know what I'm gonna do for it yet. See, I even have an extra space to put something here if I wanted to. I have my Stanley. It's like a perfect fit. Look at that. And then in here, I have odds and ends. These are like all my vitamins, some headbands, some runes, some Aleve Motrin if needed, just extra things, fingernail clippers, some earrings, I don't have dentures, you guys, but I use these because I do wear a retainer. I only have to wear it like once or twice a week, but my teeth do shift if I don't, even as a 41-year-old woman. So that cleans my retainer. Quarters, very handy for the road. In here, I've got some first aid stuff, more quarters. This is my microphone system. Batteries, because I do run the fairy lights, which you'll see in the night mode. I do run those off of AA batteries. On some tools, more tools and Velcro down there. So just things I want to access on a pretty regular basis. In that first minivan tour, which looks very similar, I did not take out the stow and go seats. I did not take out the passenger seat. And I was curious if that was going to be enough to work for me. And what I discovered is it just wasn't. I really don't like clutter, and a clean, minimalist, organized space is so important to me. And all of the blankets I had felt really, really cluttered without having taken out the stow and go seats. So this floor is cut up into 7 chunks. There's 3 right there. 1, 2, and 3. Oh wait, it's cut up into 9 chunks because I also have these little side plank thingies. But this is where I store my daily blankets. By the way, one of the things you'll see is that I use a lot of 2x4s. And they have to be cut, like every single 2x4 has to be cut at a different size. So for example, and big thanks to my dad for helping me with that and his patience with it, this is approximately, I don't know, like a centimeter shorter than this. And that's because the floor slants. At night, Chloe sleeps on this. Even though I have multiple blankets here. This is folded to where it's basically like 4 blankets. This is another like 4 blankets folded. So it's like she has 8 blankets of cushion for when we're driving. She still prefers to sleep on high density 5-inch memory foam. By the way, guys, I got this from Joann's Fabric. I was totally sad when they went out of business recently because I love these. They're very affordable from there, but they just went out of business. So perhaps there's something similar. I get 5-inch high density memory foam, and I find it to be the most comfortable things I've ever slept on in my life. And you can use something like a turkey cutter to chop them up to the right size. So at night, I move this one up to Chloe's throne. I'll show you that in a little bit. she's happy sleeping on it. But if I need to access this, by the way, that's driving me nuts. When I made this, there wasn't that gap, but after driving and as things have settled, there's that gap. I also wish I painted this that blue color, but I ran out of paint. Anyway, it drives me nuts, but it's out of sight and out of mind most of the time. There are 2 giant quilts, which act as basically 4 quilts because I fold them in half when I sleep. This is my super comfortable plush blanket that goes on top of me. This is my plush blanket that is like the sheet base. And all of these blankets, essentially what is like 7 or 8 blankets, depending on how many times I fold them, all fit right here. Down here, I use every inch of space, you guys, so I've got my dryer sheets. I've also got some cleansing little wipe thingies down there. In fact, I'm going to move the blankets just to show you guys how big this space is, and then I'll show you what's over on that side as well. Now, what is on this side are things that I would only access like in an emergency or maybe like once every 2 weeks to 1 month, because it is just more work to pull these things out of the way. Now they're plastic, they're not heavy, they're lightweight, they're easy to move, but it's just more work than I like to do for daily things. By the way, look at my super cute trash can. I got that a while ago from Ross. Just lifts right up, and it was like $7. Oh, another thing I want to show you. When I first got this van, it has this wonderful amount of storage, these little compartments here in the console. However, Chloe would jump on this and it would move and she'd get scared. So I had this already upholstered, cut to size in my car camper. I just took it out, placed it right there. Not only does it look nice, but now Chloe has something sturdy and steady to jump on. It looks pretty, it doesn't move, and she doesn't get freaked out. It was a perfect solution. I'm gonna move these guys to show you how much space is in here. I also want to show you a little bit about how I built this for the floor to be sturdy and solid, and I'll just show you. Okay, so right here at the very base, I have 1/2 inch plywood upholstered. I used that in my car camper and it was already cut and just happened to be the perfect size. And the reason I wanted to lay a piece of plywood down is not only did it make it flat, but then I was able to screw in 2x4s, 4 of them, plus some extra sturdiness down there as well. And these are what hold up basically this giant piece as I drive. And I reinforce them, so not only are they screwed in from the bottom of that 2x4, but I reinforced them with brackets just basically to keep them sturdy whenever there's a lot of shaking or whenever I'm moving around on them, or Chloe is. So that is how that all works. I also have some toilet paper down there, easily accessible, back stock of toilet paper, a sweatshirt that I like and didn't have room for in my little closet area. I'd like to show you the next compartment, but first I'll just give you a quick walkthrough of what is in these. By the way, I've had a lot of people asking me where I got these super cute pink ones. I got them from Walmart years and years ago. Unfortunately, they are discontinued because I tried buying more specifically for this build, so they are discontinued. But I had these pink ones from when I lived in a house for many years actually. And this section here this all is my closet. I've got socks and undergarments. Here I've got shirts, sweatshirts, t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, and even a few rags. Down here, I have all of my pants. I roll them to make more room for everything. There's a few shorts in there as well. Over here, this is all Chloe's food and her treats. If I say that word out loud, she will go wild, but they're these. Here is my #1 bathroom items. This is what I pee into. I've got my toilet paper. This cleans that. And that is what I use at night when I don't want to have to pour this out multiple times and open my doors. I'll show you how all that works in the night mode part of the tour. Down here, this is how I go #2. Oh, these are just a bag of bags, my like grocery store bags, which I put in my trash can. So that's just those. Cleansing cloths, biodegradable poop bags basically. This is my thing that I lay out very widely over where I go to the bathroom so that in case there's any drippage, never had an accident, but you don't want one. And this is a $7 kitchen bowl from Walmart that I poop into. Now, I am not prejudiced towards kitchen bowls. You could use a flower pot. You could use anything that's round like that. Some people use a bucket. I found the bowl to be perfect. I'm gonna have an entire video all about peeing, pooping, and showering while living full-time in a minivan. Now, I did have a video here that you can watch about peeing and pooping in a car and kind of how I made that work. Well, it's a little bit different in the minivan, although there is some overlap. Anyhow, if you want to hear about excrement, urine, and stench, be sure to subscribe. That's where I hang my coat whenever we're not driving. I move it and put it under Chloe's throne when we are driving, but it's nice to have it really easily accessible. By the way, check out our gorgeous view. We are so lucky. We are so lucky. I also make use of all space. So what I have back here is a beautiful pink cookie sheet, but I use this as an additional flat surface or something to like prep things on. And I also have this beautiful cutting board. I don't even know if I need it, to be honest, and I'm surprised I brought it because real estate for space is so limited in such a small van, but it's so pretty that I brought it with me in case I need it. I have another cutting board I use. What's funny is I don't want to use that as a cutting board because it's so pretty and I don't want to cut on it. I might find some other purpose. Oh, my hat. So this doesn't fly off when I drive. I have a tiny little piece of museum putty back there that's super easy to just very slightly roll off when I wear the hat. In here, I have more hats. And this box does not move because there's like this little lip. So when I drive, it stays. This did move because its size, its width went over that lip. So what I did, there's my Reflectix by the way, is I put this little hook. This is just a little gold hook. I put it into the plastic container, and this pretty box, which I got from Ross years ago, happened to have these guys, and it was just a unique work through for that specific box. Gosh, I love my lavender fridge. It was so ugly before. I hated its color before. Now it's lavender. I do have to touch up the paint about every 3 weeks or so because it'll get these tiny little chips, but it's infrequent enough that it's worth doing a little teeny tiny touch up, and I love it, and it goes with the theme. I do store my Reflectix. These also are for dirty clothes. These two little bags, which I got from the dollar store, they're for dirty clothes. I roll my Reflectix and just kind of throw them over here. So all my window coverings are there. Although I do plan to update my window coverings in the future, just to give you guys a view of what this is like from this other door, which I rarely open. It's what it looks like. Now again, usually all my window coverings are right here, and so they'd all fly out if I open that door. Look, I even store a little bit of extra food right there. I love having the extra space. I absolutely love that I have it. But I really don't like moving everything. Shuffling to me is annoying. I lived in a car for almost 2 years, and that is like you shuffle hundreds of times a day. So in the minivan, I did not want to have to shuffle much. So I rarely get into the storage compartment. So I'm super grateful to have it, but my goodness, I rarely get into it. As you guys can see, my fridge clears this. I have the extra little wing. This, by the way, was part of my car, and it was insanely the perfect fit. Like, I couldn't believe how perfect it fit right there. Otherwise, there was this awkward openness right there. Here, just pop this up. So I have a bunch of random stuff, you guys, and I need these. I'm gonna leave those out. I've got lotion, extra vinegar. I'm so excited to tell you guys about this. Today's sponsor, I'll tell you in a minute. I got the Buddy heater with some extra propane. These, I hear there's major mosquitoes in Alaska, so these are those window nettings to have your windows down and keep the bugs out. I have got so many rolls, like 5 or 6 rolls of the biodegradable bathroom bags, extra hot hands, dry shampoo, extra paper towels. These are jumper cables, although I may not need those. I bring them just for safety. But with the Wolfwise stuff I'm about to show you, I may not need them. Also back here, I actually have, I just want to show you guys how much space there is. I have containers and containers, a grand total of 4. Extra tools, extra wires, just extra things down here. Extra cleansing cloth thingies because, you know, keeping hygienic matters. There's so much space. It was so worth it to get those seats taken out. I have been waiting for this minivan tour to unbox this Wolfbox. The Wolfbox Megavolt Air jump starter with air compressor. Plus, I also have another jump starter. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each one of these, but I want to tell you about the serendipity. Literally the day that I was going through my checklist to make sure I had everything I need for this grand adventure to go up to Alaska, I thought, I need a jump starter and I also need an air compressor. And I had in my cart on Amazon one of these to purchase, not this brand, and I'm so grateful that I received their email in the nick of time, seeing if I wanted to partner with them, and I was like, are you kidding? Because when I read their reviews compared to what I was about to purchase, they have so many good reviews. Reviews are huge. These have hundreds of positive reviews, and so I was like, yes, please. Thank you, Wolfbox. I love partnering with companies that have so many good reviews. They had asked if I wanted to try out their 4,000 amp jump starter or their 3,000 amp with the air compressor. And I said the one with the air compressor. And they said, why don't we send you both? So thank you so much, Wolfbox. I'm so grateful. This is one of the things that I love. You open it up, look at the quality. Boom. Whew. Oh my goodness. Wow. Whoa, it's a flashlight. I did not even know that. Here's the charging port. Here's the jumper cable port. I love the combination. So this is what I was about to buy right before I saw their partnership request email. Super high quality, similar type of very secure packaging. So this one is the 4,000 amp jump starter only. This the 3,000 amp jump starter with the air compressor. Charging kit, battery cables, and then, whoa, it's so nice. Like, wow. Okay. So this one is 3,000 amps and 160 PSI. So I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to have to read about this because I don't know how these work. I will film it should I ever need to use it. I hope I don't, because that would mean that I have a flat tire or a dead battery. If one of those happens, I will be giving them a major shout out again, because you guys, I feel like something like this is something every person should have who has a vehicle. Then if you are a nomad, I think it's actually kind of silly, and if I'm honest, a little bit irresponsible that I didn't have this in my rigs before, especially my first year and a half when I was in the car camper traveling all over. However, going to Alaska, I was like, I absolutely am going to make sure to be responsible and have these things that I need. A huge thank you again to Wolfbox. You guys, I've linked them below. Check them out. I'm gonna fix everything back up to normal day mode and then continue on with the tour. Look at how much space that is. There's so many layout plans you can do. By the way, I also use Reflectix at night because those don't quite cover. They're more for looks, but I do have a curtain idea in mind over time that I'm going to use to cover all of the windows. So this is how huge it looks from the inside. The entire tall buddy heater completely fits with a little bit of room to spare. What Juan did with the solar is in the van roof right up there is where he had the port come through. It's running down through that plastic so you don't even see it. Then it runs along the floor under all of the Reflectix. It runs into the back where my Jackery is. I love my Jackery. I've been happiest with Jackery of all my power stations, and I have like 7 of them. The 200 watts of solar Like right now, check that out. It's at 100%. That's incredible. And the output right now is my fridge. So the fridge takes about between 35 to 40 watts whenever it's running. This fridge I am so happy with. This is the Apicool fridge. I've had it almost 3 years, you guys. It's 19 quarts and I highly recommend it. Coming to the back part. Again, I often sit here. I'll sit here and kind of lounge, which is a really nice thing. It's sort of like a chaise lounge, and I'll sit there and do my work. I have had folks see these containers. They used to be white. I painted them. They've seen them in my car in this video here and asked where I got them. I will tell you guys, I have had these longer than I've had any item. I've had these since I was about 18 years old, and I do not know if they even make them anymore. I don't know where I got them, probably Walmart. This is my sink and my tea mug, multi-use. I've got my toothpaste, some scissors, vitamins, sunscreen I wear every day as a nomad. My toothbrush is down there, and Ziploc bags because I use those all the time. Down here, I access these multiple times a day, every day, just cords for everything right near the jackery, so very strategically placed. Down here, this I use as one of my main lighting sources at night. Same with this. They're my two lighting sources at night. I store a bunch of hot hands here. I have so many of these. I probably have brought about 180 of these with me to Alaska. I have no idea if I'll need them that much. They keep me warm in the winter. What they are is hot hands, deodorant, and just a bunch of flashlights. My headlamp flashlight, another flashlight from my uncle. When I'm sitting on here to work or cook, I wanted there to be space for my feet. So there's space, open face for my knees and my feet right here. And then this is my faucet, dry shampoo, makeup remover, and vinegar. These are the sort of wet antibacterial Cloroxy type cleansing wipes. I think their cover is ugly, so I used contact paper to cover mine. Isn't that cute? Contact paper here, contact paper there. I need to get contact paper. This was a container for some of these. However, I use this as my little trash. And now you might think it's funny, but I like to have a little tiny trash over here so that I don't have to bend and reach all the way to the other side of the van. There's Chloe looking at the gorgeous view. But yeah, I don't have to bend and reach all the way to the other side of the van if I'm sitting here and just want to throw something away there. I love my Gas One stove here. It runs on butane. It's beautiful. Oh, look at my tripod is right out there. I keep the butane down here. Don't do what I did, you guys. Use me as a bad example. I was like, oh, it shouldn't be a big deal to keep the butane in there. Yeah, it is. My carbon monoxide detector, which is right there, went off because it started getting a small butane leak from having it on its side. So don't be like me. It's dangerous to have gas leaks in your vehicle. So take out the butane every single time you use it. It's not a big deal to put it back in. Here, 3/4 inch plywood, upholstered with a beautiful rug I got from Ross, covered in plexiglass to keep it clean. I got the plexiglass cut to the exact size, really appreciated that. That flower is for beauty. I got that at Ross, I believe. It is adhered with museum putty so it doesn't move when I drive. So far, the Gas One stove is not moving as I drive unless I'm on a really bumpy road. These little things are kind of rubbery, so they stay on. If I'm on a really bumpy road, I just bring that down to the floor. And believe it or not, even the teapot stays on as I drive, which is crazy. Over here, I have a little clamp that clamps the plexiglass to the wood, upholstered wood below it, a fan, coasters because I do put hot beverages down. I don't want it to mess up the plexiglass. Look at my gorgeous views. It's kind of dirty because it's so windy. It's pelted a bunch of dust onto it there, but I have the best views. One of the things that was so important to me was not covering up not one of the windows. I want to see out of every single window. Look at that out there. Look at this. Hold on, I gotta show you. that is my view. Isn't that gorgeous? I did the same plexiglass system with the upholstered wood and a rug from Ross. Here, these are wonderful for extra storage. In here, I've got Q-tips and cotton. In here, I've got like chapstick, cleansing cloths for bathing, and bobby pins. Up here, I have all my makeup. If you're wondering what these hooks are and you haven't seen my previous tour, before I drive, I just turn all of those hooks to the side and they cannot open. Same thing over here. This kept chipping, so I glued those little flowers on as a nice decoration to both cover the chipping as well as to look pretty, and totally works. Up here, I just have random teeth stuff, retainer, floss, kitchen stuff, spices, spoons, hair stuff, clips, brush. And then when I drive, again, just turn these guys. More of these lovely little plastic bins that are from Walmart. I wish they were pink or blue, and Walmart used to have a blue one, but they discontinued those. So I had brown ones as well. And they come in stacks of 3, but I reduced them down to 2. You can take them apart to get them custom fit to your needs. So this just actually works absolutely perfect. So anytime I'm sitting right here, I can easily reach all 4 drawers. Very important drawer, very strategically placed, coffee and tea. Here is more cooking stuff. My skillet, a bowl, honey, spices, utensils. In here, I have an electric skillet. This only takes 500 watts at a given time. It's a great little electric stove. Majorly important, paper towel roll. Out of the way because it's unattractive, but easily accessible. Rather than putting screws in both of them so this stays stuck, I only put screws in one so I can turn it when I need to change it, which was just awesome. I have my little thermometer. I have an indoor-outdoor thermometer. I really like this. I like seeing the difference. I made this box to cover my Jackery. As you can tell, the aesthetic of the Jackery does not go with the pastel, feminine, vibrant colors of everything else I have. So 3/4 inch plywood upholstered with a rug, that's basically everything. And then I just screwed some screws in, and this is a great box, custom fit to cover my Jackery. I used that when I was in my car camper as well. I used that when I was in my RV. It's been very convenient. And then this is the perfect size, these pretty photograph boxes. I got them from like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. And in here, I have more food. So extra utensils, tea. I actually need to stock up because usually this box is full, but I've been eating a lot. That fits right here, and it doesn't move when I drive because this, like it hits that, it just, or it hits this. So it just doesn't move when I drive. By the way, I used 1x2s to fix this to the floor, and you can't see it, but I have brackets screwed into the plywood base so that it's not going anywhere. And then over here, in order to fit this box, I just cut a 1x2 to sized, propped it up on there, so you can get real creative and just work with the needs of your vehicle. Trying to see the brackets down there. Over here, more food stuff. I've got my Joule electric kettle for when I don't feel like cracking a window and heating up water for coffee on my butane. Just extra food stuff. I've got bread, I've got almonds, just extra food stuff. That changes depending on my food situation. This is an important drawer. That is I wore clothes and they're still clean enough to wear again, but too dirty to put with all my clean clothes drawer. And over here, back stock of coffee. Look at that. That's a giant bag of coffee. I'm well stocked. I cannot believe how much storage there is down here. So I have all the room from there in the back all the way to about here, maybe even here. So there is so much storage and it's deep. I store 14 gallons of water down there with room to spare for other stuff. I will show you. From the inside, I installed this little hook, can lift it up and can grab my butane or water. This is an empty one, but I can grab all of that. So I only keep 1 gallon typically right over here. So then I can just reach and switch. And every 2 or 3 days, I do need to get out, and from the back, which I'm about to show you, I need to rearrange the gallons so that there's like 3 or 4 gallons accessible from the inside. So there's a little bit of rearranging there. But 14 gallons of water, like, are you kidding me? That's incredible. I love the automatic lifting and automatic doors. By the way, it also has an automatic start, and I did not know about that until I accidentally sat on my key fob and it turned on. This is the gorgeousness from the back. Hold up, hold up. There we go. Gorgeousness from the back. Lovely doggy. She's been so relaxed and chill. This is how I adhere my plexiglass. The store ran out of these and never got them back in for months. I spray painted them. They were orange. I spray painted them purple to match. Ideally, I'd like to do the same thing for that ugly clip back there, but it does the job until then. You can see I've got museum putty here, and those don't go anywhere. So it's all secure. Anyway, what I ended up doing, this is gonna look kind of funny, but I'm gonna show you. I cut multiple sort of slabs and then upholstered them. When I reupholstered the entire floor, I ran out of that rug in order to make it wrap under everything up front. So I did a few creative fixes. I got another pretty rug. And sure, it's not exact matchy, but that's the nice thing with bohemian design. It's almost like the eclectic look and the mismatch of everything brings it into one cohesive look. It's one of the reasons I love it so much. By the way, I've had folks ask about these gorgeous scarves. They're Pashimas that I got when I lived in San Francisco many, many, many years ago. And I got them in Chinatown and have loved them ever since. I use them for decor, as in right here. I also like to wrap them around my neck when I'm cold. Okay, so from the outside, bada bing, bada boom. Look how much there is. If I want to access all the more, I do have to move these guys, which I'm going to do to show you. I rarely ever do this, but I created it to where I can very easily just move these to the ground and access the storage in a bigger way. So I'll do that right now. See, that took what, like 10 seconds? And then these, look at all that storage. I've got butane, extra hot hands, extra cleansing wipes, 14 gallons. By the way, hot hands and hot hands way into the back. I said I brought about 180. Extra paper towel roll. So just so much room to fit stuff, you guys. Very, very happy with this. And because I ran out of the rug, as you can see, that's just pretty contact paper. Otherwise it would be bare wood. And I didn't want to like fit another rug in there, so I just used contact paper right there at the end. You barely ever see that. Same thing right here. As you can tell, the 1x2s, I screw in the upholstered plywood to the 1x2. I run that down, I bracket it up, and then in order to basically get these to stay, 2x4, and it holds up both the massive large piece of plywood that makes up the totality of the floor, but then I position them in such a way where they just hold these guys. And then right there. That wind is intense. When I'm out in that kind of wind, I get really, really tired. I love being in the van in these windstorms because everything around you is chaos outside, and yet you're calm and tranquil and peaceful, getting to watch the chaotic storm on the outside. I am near Capitol Reef right now in Utah. There's my little sweetie pie. She's just chilling today. She does not even want to go outside. Some of these wind gusts are up to 50 miles an hour. This is so spectacular. The iPhone doesn't have the best zoom quality, but I just want to give you an idea of what I see out there. Isn't that spectacular? Then when I'm sitting here cooking, working, I often position the van to where the best views are out these two windows, because from where I sit, this is where I look the most. Fortunately, where I'm at right now, the views are so spectacular in every single direction that I'm just blessed to have gorgeous views out of every window. This may be the longest video that I've ever posted on my channel. Let's see if it is. I think it might be. And yet I'm just so thrilled and excited to share this with you that I want to show it all, even if it's really long. And I'm definitely going to put things in chapters so that you can skip ahead to the parts that are most interesting to you. I still want to show you night mode. And it takes about 10 minutes to do in the morning and 10 minutes to do in the evening. And I will tell you, it's totally worth it. I always thought I wouldn't want to do that. I thought it would be too much work, but I will tell you, for the peace and the joy and the ease and the minimalist factor during the day, I love it. Welcome to night mode of the minivan. This guy goes up here. The pillows both insulate for my girl, and they also provide her something to lay her head on. What I'm doing right now is getting several items from down below that I get every single night. This is for my bed. These are the pillows for me because I'm a picky sleeper. I just bring these guys down. This is my pillow, by the way. I used to use like a regular pillow until I slept on this. I am like, it is so comfortable to use as a pillow, the 5-inch high density memory foam. So this here is night mode of the van. I sleep here. Chloe's bed is all made. It's elevated with that extra foam. Cover her up with those blankets. This is another feature of night mode. That turns upright. And once I'm all tucked in for the night and all my window covers are up, that is what I pour my urine into, and I dump it out in the morning and clean it every single day. That way I'm not hopping out of the van in the middle of the night. If I wanted to just keep it this way on a drive day where I'm not interested in making it up and just want to hop into bed after a long day of driving, I just keep it like that all day. Notice how much up front goes toward night mode. It's practically empty down there. Thank you so much for watching our in-depth minivan tour. I'm curious, what did you guys think? What were some of your favorite parts about it? Or do you have any recommendations that could make living in it more beautiful, more functional, more enjoyable? Let me know. And if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. We are headed to Alaska. One of my upcoming videos soon is going to be about when I got rid of 98% of what I owned, when I went from a 2-bedroom house to a car. And what that decluttering process was like. So definitely stick around, comment, and thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next time.